Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'll be like, you know what? Today I'll do a topic about sharing tips about being a person with a fighter mentality. One thing, and I said it before, prior videos ago when I did a story time about how I recognized I had a fighter mentality. The one thing that I said was when you're a fighter, you're going to, get hit. That's one of the things. It's unavoidable. You're going to struggle. You're going to face struggle. You're going to face situations where you're going to get hit countless of times. But your fighter mentality is going to be tested. That's one thing pretty much I can say about that. So one of the first tips, guys, remember to like my videos and subscribe to my YouTube channel. The first tip I will share is that when you are a person with a fighter mentality, you have to accept the fact that you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to struggle. You're going to get hit. You're going to fall. You're going to experience failure. You're going to experience all of that as a fighter, especially a person with a fighter mentality. You're going to experience all of those. So when from you can accept that, it really goes a long way. Before you can face those, though, you have to able to believe in yourself that when you really do face those things, that you can overcome those. So what I'm really trying to say is it really starts with yourself. So you have to really believe in yourself that you can overcome all those odds that you're facing, especially when you have a fighter mentality. Another tip I will share is that another tip of being a fighter mental is having a determination to keep going. Now, when you have a determination to keep going, it really goes a long way because, as I said, you're going to get hit, you're going to struggle, and if you have that determination, it really doesn't matter how much time you fall, how many times you experience disappointments or failures. It really doesn't matter how many times you drop down. If you have that determination to keep going, it will work in your favor. Another tip I will share is that motivation. More as a fighter mentor, you gotta be able to motivate yourself more because you're going to be finding yourself a lot of situations where it's like you get into a point where you're just like you said to yourself, damn, I don't know if I can keep going. I don't know if I do that. So if you can motivate yourself, allow me find something that motivate you, that keep it going, that also will work and keep you going. That will help out in the long run. Another tip I would say is having the willpower to also keep going. Actually, this is one of the key of being a fighter mentality is having the willpower. Without that, that's one of the things you can't lose is the willpower to keep going, no matter how hard it is. Because if you lose that willpower, you're asking for trouble. Because that's where, if you lose that, it's like whenever you face challenges or adversities, you're going to give up easily because you don't have the willpower to keep going. One of the reasons why I can say I always find a way to keep going is because of that willpower and determination to keep going no matter what. One thing I can really say for sure is my fighter mentality it always seems to be triggered whenever I'm facing high stakes situations or tough situations or challenges or adversities, you name it. My fighter mentality only seems to trigger this. It also seems to trigger when I'm on a brink of giving up, which I have faced many times. I faced many of those stages where I just wanted to throw in the towel and I'm like, you know what's good, this I can't bother anymore. But that's when it really triggers me, I just keep it going. Another tip I want to share is having the will to not give up. When you have this will of not giving up, and let's say you're at school in high school and you want to graduate to go to college, and say you're in a situation in 11th grade and you failed pretty much most of your CSE subjects and things like that. No, at that point it'll be easy to be to give up because it will seem like it's the end of the world. And you're on the brink of just holding on, and you just seemingly think you can't hold on any longer, and you just barely holding on. The most important out of this, of being a person of fighter mentality, is having God by your side, because there's a difference between your strength and God's strength, and I can tell you for sure they're not the same, because I experienced countless of times where I just woke five with man, a brink of giving up, and somehow it's like I found out it's like that century I felt I was weak, but then after a while I just got back up and continued again. And that's why for me, I just like, you know what, as hard as life is, as hard as things are, and things are hard these days, and always been hard, I just gotta keep going. I can't give up, because the consequence of giving up is like, if you give up, the question is, what are you gonna do when you do give up? There are plenty of stages where I could have given up there and there, but I didn't, and I really can't probably say glad I did not, because if I did, I want to make it to where I am today, because as hard as it is being a fighter when you're gonna get hit, it's actually a good thing to be a fighter too, because you can overcome a lot of things, and there's a lot of words of being a fighter with fighter mentality. And when you actually manage to overcome those obstacles, I can tell you one thing, it's a really good feeling. So as I said, the most important thing is have God by your side. Whenever I pray, and I don't pray all the time, but whenever I do pray, one of the favorite things I always ask him to do is give me the strength to go through the day, or through the week, or through the hard times, because facing hard times, especially as a fighter mentality is unavoidable. So whenever I do get a chance to pray, I ask him to like give me the strength to go through the day. And if I happen to face hard times, I ask him to guide me through the hard times, the difficult times that I may be going through. So you need to have God by yourself whenever you have fighter mentality, to give you the strength to be able to help you face whatever struggles you may be going through, because facing challenges and struggles as a fighter is unavoidable. And besides, no, there are moments where I wish things were easy, but if things were easy, there's no way I would be a fighter with fighter mentality today. If I wouldn't have a fighter mentality if things were easy all the time, if I didn't go through struggles or challenges. And it also depends on the level of difficulty of those situations and challenges also. If it's extremely difficult and you find yourself on the brink of giving up most of the times, as I said, for me, that's where my fighter mentality mostly triggers. Whenever I'm in a situation whenever I'm facing challenges, or I face certain things, or when I'm on a brink, I'm just throwing the towel and I'm just like, you know what, give up, yeah, man. And I can tell you one thing, it's easy to give up than to keep going. But when you keep going, there's the light at the end of the tunnel that you'll find. And as I said, there's a lot of awards of being a fighter. I mean, the things I've overcome being a fighter, I mean, I was just like, wow. And after a while, I just been like, you know what? It took me a while to embrace being a person who has a fighter mentality. It took me a while to embrace it, you know. It took me a good while to embrace it. But after looking back at everything I went through, I was like, you know what? I'm glad that I'm a person with a fighter mentality, because the fact that I can constantly keep overcoming stuff, and heck, I have more more challenges and more obstacles to face in the future. And one thing I can tell you, when it's all said and done, yeah, it'll be those years where I give up, where I might be in a situation where I might give up. But I can tell you, based on my experiences, somehow I find around that no matter how hard the circumstances, when you overcome a lot of obstacles, it gives you the confidence that, hey, I overcome this before. And even when you're in a situation where you're on the first giving up, you can talk yourself around and say, oh, look, I've overcome all of this. I should be able to overcome this. So one of the things I would do is be like, hey, you remember time you used to overcome this? You used to do that. Remind yourself of the previous obstacle that you have overcome as well. That's another tip I will give, because when you remind yourself of that, it'll give you the extra motivation to keep going. Another thing I would say that ultimately that really makes me a legit person, especially a person with a fighter mentality, is if I happen not to have a motivation, it's like I just have this. If I don't have the motivation, it's like you gotta have the discipline. If you don't have the motivation, you gotta able to be disciplined yourself. Another thing that really submitted myself the fact is that one stage in college where I was just mentally checked out, but someone was like, even though I feel like I didn't have it left, it's like I found the extra strength to just to keep going again and keep them deeper than I had to. So it's like as you go along, the more hard it is, the more likely you might evolve as a person with a fighter mentality. And I can really say I have evolved in being a fighter with a fighter mentality, and I'll continue to do so. And with God by my side, I'll be able to overcome more obstacles. So that's the end of my YouTube channel. Those are my tips. If you guys have any other more tips that I didn't share in this video, you can comment them below and share my videos with everybody, guys, and subscribe and like my YouTube channel. Have a nice day.